Hi, in this short demo I wanted to show you how you can set up graphics on the p.CORDER templates. So if you look below me, you'll see there's no graphics at the moment, there's nothing there, and if you look at these examples I've got in my presentation, you can see they've got their own logo there. And if I press, I've got my remote here, and if I press a different number on the front of here, it will call up a different bitmap file from this particular template. So if I press number 3, for example, then we get a graphic with a logo and a person's name. If I press number 4, I get a different one, and so on. And so I'm just going to show you, really, I'm going to come out of this presentation and show you how that's configured and how that's made on the p.CORDER. So let me just get to my Finder window, and you'll see that I've got some template sets set up here. Now, these are actually, for instance, it says here template 21 608p left. So these are named so that they're named for us for reference, but you would have them named, once you load them onto the USB, you'd have them named 1, 2, 3 to 9, etc. So, but I just want to show you the structure. Inside you've got the config.xml. That sets all of the audio levels and all of the video levels, video settings. Everything inside the p.CORDER can be changed in this config.xml. I'm going to cover that in a different video, but down below you'll see there's bitmaps and PSDs, which are for the actual templates themselves, and that's for how big the window is that I'm looking at you on, and how big the window is that I'm looking at my presentation or my notebook output on. But I want to look at this directory, which is images, and inside images we have got various different files. And if you look at 1-BMP, 1-0BMP, and if I open this with, I'll open it with preview just to show you. So you can see a big fat nothing. That's so that when I press 0 on the remote, the config.xml tells the system that when I press 0 on the remote, it will load that BMP. If I come back here and I open this one, for example, so now you can see this one has got a particular logo on it. It's the Pixel 2 Media logo. So now when I press 1, because this one is called 1-1, I will get the Pixel 2 Media logo. And then if I add to that, if I keep going and look at 1-2 and open that with preview or something similar, so now you can see I've added text, and all of that is created from a PSD file which we include here. And what I'll do is I'll open that on an app I've got called Pixelmator, which will show, it's similar to Photoshop basically, but it will show you the different levels. So layers, sorry. So all I do is I set my layers that I want on and off. So I could say, okay, I want this name and I don't want this top. And now all I do is export that as a bitmap with the same name, with the name of the number that I want to call it up with. So it could be 9, it could be 1-9. And so this template is 1-9, and this is template 1. But if I then came to template 2, for instance this one, then we've got another images folder, and in that images folder we've got another series of BMPs named the same, but they'll give us a different effect. So let's see, they will probably all be very similar, but let's see if there's anything in this one that might be different. So yeah, perhaps this one. So open with preview. So that's a long, thin, so that's for a template, probably something like this template. If I go to this one, you can see now, you can see the camera input, but if I select, for instance, 1 or 2, you can see that there's graphics at the bottom. And there are various different ways to configure that with just the PSD file. So if I go back to my previous template, you can see now that that other graphic is associated with that template. So this is a long, thin graphic that goes underneath that template. And if I load this one, you can see these are all samples and examples of what you can create. But basically anything you do with that PSD file here, which again I'll open with Pixelmator because I don't have Photoshop on this machine, but you can use Photoshop or Photoshop Elements or something like that. So now within this I've got layers, and anything I add to that graphics wise, if I add another logo, I can just turn that logo off and add that logo on, save it as a BMP, save it with the name. It could be template 5-1, for example. So I hope that gives you a kind of a preview of how to create those graphics. Thanks very much.